Some dreams begin with sunshine, an empty road, and the hum of an engine echoing through nature. But some dreams end on the roadside, hood steaming, with the stench of burning plastic filling the cabin. The history of American RVs isn't just about freedom and exploration. It's also a long trail of mistakes, failed experiments, and vehicles that just feel wrong the moment you sit inside. Massive motorhomes that are weak, rattly, and utterly untrustworthy. You're about to enter a list where each name represents a rolling disaster, from backwards engineering to engines weaker than a lawnmower. These aren't just bad vehicles. They are living warnings to anyone who thinks buying an RV means automatic freedom. Number 13-1960, Clark Cortez. In the 1960s, a time when America dreamed of the future, an industrial equipment company made a bold leap into the RV world. The Clark Cortez wasn't like any motorhome of its time. Unibody construction, front-wheel drive, and a compact, van-like profile, but with ambitions to revolutionize the industry. On paper, it was a marvel. The unibody made it lighter and easier to handle. Front-wheel drive allowed for a flat floor, maximizing interior space, and at just 17 to 18 feet long, it was far more maneuverable than its bulky rivals. But reality hit hard. Its 4-speed manual transmission, borrowed from industrial machines, wasn't built for long-distance travel, and quickly became a nightmare to operate. The slant-6 engine made just 140 horsepower, leaving it gasping for breath on uphill climbs. The suspension struggled under the motorhome's weight, turning every trip into a test of endurance. To make matters worse, replacement parts were rare, repairs were complicated, and the interior felt Spartan at best. The Clark Cortez stands as a classic example of something ahead of its time, but not quite ready to survive in it. Number 12-1972, Winnebago Brave. If the Clark Cortez was a bold vision crushed by its own engineering, the 1972 Winnebago Brave is the definition of cheap for a reason. It looked friendly, approachable, and when it launched, it sparked road trip dreams for many middle-class American families. Then came the first rain. Not only did it wash away the fantasy, it leaked right into the RV itself. Seals, windows, and the roof gave way. Water crept silently into every crevice, inviting mold, rot, and an unmistakable musty odor. It felt less like camping and more like sailing in a boat with holes. The 350 cubic inch V8 engine had just enough power to turn over, but not enough to push this beast up a hill. Inside, everything, from the cabinets and upholstery to the fittings, shared one trait: rapid deterioration. The Brave carried a name that meant courage, but in reality, it was you who needed a whole lot of patience, not to drive it, but to forgive it after every breakdown. Number 11-1988, Toyota Dolphin. At first glance, the 1988 Toyota Dolphin seems like an outlier on this list. The legendary Toyota 22R and 22RE engines, practically immortal. Compact, fuel-efficient, easy to maintain, perfect for anyone wanting to start RV life without too much risk. But then, there's one thing few notice, until it's too late: the frame. That was the fatal flaw. Toyota designed this chassis for a pickup truck, not for carrying a miniature house on its back. The result? The frame began to sag. Some Dolphins even developed cracks and body misalignment, making doors impossible to shut properly. Driving over rough roads felt like steering a ship mid-breakup. The worst part? You don't see it right away. Everything seems fine the first year, until the suspension collapses, The fridge tilts, and cabinets start ripping from the walls. And then you're left staring at the Dolphin you once trusted, now a costly project. Yet paradoxically, many still choose it, because they believe that if you reinforce the frame, the heart, that bulletproof Toyota engine will carry them anywhere. Number 10, 1974 GMC Motorhome. Some RVs are built to impress at first glance, and the 1974 GMC Motorhome absolutely nailed it. With a sleek, bullet-like body and shockingly aerodynamic lines, it looked more like a prop from a sci-fi film than a 1970s motorhome. In truth, GMC went all in. Unibody construction, front-wheel drive, a front-mounted Oldsmobile 455 V8, allowed for a lower floor and expansive interior. The concept wasn't wrong, it was ahead of its time. But that pioneering spirit came at a high cost in real-world performance. The very thing that set it apart, the front-wheel drive, became its Achilles heel. It couldn't handle the vehicle's massive weight, leading to frequent failures. Drive components, clutches, transmissions, all were prone to giving up under prolonged stress. Each breakdown sent owners into a maze of rare parts and underqualified mechanics. Worse still, the electrical and plumbing systems were unreliable. Gorgeous on the outside, the GMC motorhome often left its owners in the dark, sometimes literally. The 1974 GMC motorhome was an engineer's dream, but a mechanic's recurring nightmare. Number 9, 1985 Chevy G20 camper van. Looking for a compact, easy-to-drive, budget-friendly camper? Chances are you've considered the 1985 Chevy G20 camper van. On paper, it had everything. A friendly design, manageable size, and a fully equipped interior perfect for long weekend getaways. Then, you turned on the AC, and nothing happened. You climbed a hill, and the temperature gauge turned red. You slept overnight and woke up freezing through insulation that felt like paper. The G20 just wasn't built to be a camper. The V8 engine was powerful, but not engineered to haul a full camper build. Overheating was common. Its suspension couldn't handle the added weight, making back roads feel like off-road adventures. The interior was tight, poorly insulated, and noisy. Hot in the summer, cold in the winter, and shaky all year round. The Chevy G20 was a solid van for work, but once dressed as a camper, it became a tired version of what it was never meant to be. Number 8, 1981 Fleetwood Pace Arrow. If you flip through 1980s RV ads, the Fleetwood Pace Arrow was pitched as a comfortable, affordable home on wheels. And truth be told, on paper, it looked like a solid deal. Spacious interior, smart layout, and a promising V8 under the hood. But the problem was, everything was only good on paper. Even the most forgiving owners had a hard time with the Pace Arrow. Roof leaks, poor insulation, and flimsy materials that seemed to fall apart after just one harsh winter. Worse still, the electrical system had a mind of its own. Flickering lights, mid-trip AC shutdowns, and appliances that simply wouldn't turn on. Sure, the Chevrolet 454 engine was powerful, but it drank fuel like it was celebrating. And when it came to climbing hills, some units would stumble in the most disappointing way. The Pace Arrow didn't lack ambition. But when everything, from the roof to the wiring, needs repairs within a few years, people began to realize this was an RV built to sell, not to last. Number 7, 1977 Dodge Chinook. The 1977 Dodge Chinook wasn't a big RV. It wasn't a tech marvel either, but for many, it once symbolized a small dream of simple, tidy, peaceful road trips. But the Chinook couldn't quite deliver on that dream. Though it was built on a fairly common Dodge van, the drivetrain struggled under the added camper weight. The 360 V8 engine overheated easily, especially when fully loaded. Every long hill climb felt like a tug-of-war between you and the temperature gauge. Inside, the space was cleverly used, but only enough for two, and not comfortably so if the journey dragged on. The stiff suspension and clumsy high-speed handling made long drives feel more exhausting than they should have been. The Chinook might have worked for someone who just needed a place to sleep. But if you dreamed of multi-state adventures, sadly, this little van might leave you stranded halfway through. Number 6-1992 Fleetwood Bounder. There's a reason why many Bounder 1992 owners start their story with, "At first, I thought I got a great deal." And it made sense, at least on the surface. Spacious, decently equipped, and cheaper than many of its rivals. But then you fill up the gas tank and watch the needle drop faster than your Monday morning motivation. The Bounder is a textbook case of an RV that's big but breathless. Its large V8 engine sounded promising, but once it was hauling a house on wheels, it gasped for air, especially uphill or on long drives. Add in an electrical system and interior built with just enough quality, and you get a recipe for constant repairs. Some models also suffered from roof leaks that caused interior rot within just a few rainy seasons. The 1992 Bounder is a costly lesson. Sometimes the great deal isn't on the price tag. It's hidden in all the time and money you'll spend after you sign the papers. Number 5-1983 Winnebago Lesharo. Sometimes the biggest trap isn't a cheap gimmick, it's something that looks clever. The 1983 Winnebago Lesharo is a textbook example. Compact shape, Euro-styled elegance, fuel-sipping diesel engine, and a size perfect for urban adventures. Sounds amazing, right? Until you drive it. The Lesharo used a Renault 2.2-liter engine, a power plant better suited for a compact city car. Not a fully loaded RV dragging itself through mountain passes. The result? You step on the gas, nothing happens. It's slow, sluggish, and if there's a headwind, good luck. Worse yet, everything inside, from electrical parts to engine components, was imported, meaning every repair felt like a treasure hunt. Some owners waited weeks for parts, and not every garage dared to touch it, because not many knew how to fix this half-American, half-French enigma. The Lesharo was a beautiful idea on the drawing board, but once released onto the American highway, it felt like a man in a tuxedo, trying to jog across a desert. Number 4-1976 Winnebago Mini Winnie. Mini Winnie. The name alone makes you smile. A cute little RV, easy to drive, economical, and unintimidating. For many RV newcomers, it was once the dream entry point to life on the road. But soon, they learned the truth. Compact doesn't mean comfortable. Inside, the Mini Winnie was tiny. Sit down, and your head bumps the ceiling. Fold-out beds, a mini dinette, and a kitchenette just big enough for a camp stove. Everything was just enough, but never enough to live. Then came the problems. The electrical system was touchy. The AC often had a mind of its own. And the 350 cubic inch V8 engine? It struggled on hills, sometimes more than the driver. The Mini Winnie was a charming choice, until it became that needy little friend. Perfect for those who like simplicity and aren't in a hurry. A very long journey, kind of not in a hurry. Number 3-1998 Damon Daybreak. If you've ever seen a 1998 Damon Daybreak in person, You might have thought, hey, that doesn't look too bad. Spacious, open layout, basic amenities, like a small apartment on wheels. And it is until you actually live in it. Just a few days in, strange things start happening. Overhead lights flicker like a disco ball, the AC hums, then cuts out. Power outlets work when they feel like it. Inside, it's boiling by day and freezing by night. Thanks to insulation so thin, you can hear the wind whisper through the walls. What about the engine? Powerful on paper, but quick to overheat and age. And the best part? The Daybreak is one of the few RVs where you might find yourself fixing the lights, patching plumbing, and chasing drafts, all at once. People said the Damon Daybreak was affordable and accessible, but real-life experience makes it feel more like a prototype that escaped the lab. An unfinished draft that accidentally went into full production. It didn't destroy your RV dream, it woke you up from it. Number 2, 1973 Dodge Travco. The 1973 Travco was the kind of RV that made people stare. Rounded edges, a spaceship vibe, and a cabin that felt like a shuttle interior. For many, one look was all it took to fall in love. But like many vintage beauties, the Travco is a vehicle you can't touch for too long. First, the top-heavy design. With a high, bulky upper body, the RV's center of gravity was dangerously off. Sharp turns or slanted roads turned every drive into a balance test. Some even joked the Travco rocked like a boat on the freeway. Under the hood was a Dodge 413 V8, strong but temperamental. Overheating, leaks, and random failures were common. The electrical system was inconsistent, often leading to shorts or total power loss. And the interior? Loose cabinets, cracked upholstery, peeling ceiling panels, as if built in a rush to meet a launch deadline. Travco was an iconic RV, but iconic for being a dream never stress-tested. You'd love it, right up until you had to live in it. Number 1-1969 Chevrolet Sport Van Camper. The 1969 Chevrolet Sport Van Camper promised a simple journey. A small van, a folding bed, a tiny kitchen, just enough to explore America. No luxury needed, no fancy bathroom, just freedom. But freedom came with a price. The van was based on the G-Series platform, meant for cargo, not a mobile apartment. Once converted into a camper, its limits showed fast. The 250 cubic inch inline-six engine was underpowered, especially uphill or fully loaded. Overheating became routine. The cooling system just couldn't cope. Inside, space was tight and the layout awkward. Living inside felt like a constant game of Tetris. Move one thing, and 3 others had to follow. The interior aged quickly, with poor insulation and little soundproofing. And after a few hundred miles, the old frame began to creak and groan. The sport van camper didn't fail from a lack of effort. It failed by trying to do more than it ever could. And that was our journey through 13 of the worst RVs in American history. The kind you probably don't want anywhere near your driveway, unless you own a repair shop, have nerves of steel, and a bottomless wallet. These RVs weren't all hopeless. Some had creative designs, others carried real dreams. But whether from bad engineering, poor materials, or just too much ambition, they all shared one fatal flaw. They outran the dream, but never made it to reality. An RV is more than a vehicle. It's a home, a memory maker, a lifestyle. And when your home on wheels fails at being either home or wheel, the trip becomes anything but a vacation. Have you ever crossed paths with one of these RV misadventures? Let us know in the comments. And if you're thinking about that great deal on a vintage Winnebago, maybe watch this video again. But this time, watch carefully.